Welcome, folks. It's not Tom O'Brien, it's Tommy O'Brien. It's Friday. We got a good market. We got the Dow up 374 points. S&P's positive by 37. NASDAQ positive by 131 points. And I'm fortunate today to be joined by our man, David White. Dave, good afternoon.
Hey,
how we doing, man? Nice program. I was listening to it. Lots of good information, and quite a trading day we have out here. Trading week across the board, man.
Yeah, especially I'm glad I was able to close out a couple of trades for some big profits here. We're going to be talking about my webinar coming up and how I set up one of those trades.
Nice.
So we'll get into that, I guess, a little bit later.
Yeah, I know you were sending out updates to those subscribers today, getting those profits claimed before the day might reverse. But man, charts across the board. I mean, the index charts, I like to pull them up on the hour, but it's a straight rocket ship to the upside. Not too much of to digest today, at least.
Well, I was talking about this earlier in the week on my show, but there was a very bipolarish market where you had huge puts being bought in the equity part of the options market,
okay,
and monster calls being bought in the stocks around in the options around the VIX.
Interesting.
Which are the out of the money puts and calls that are both 24 and 36 days out. So you had this, something was going to give. We were going to have a big move one way or the other. I was thinking long just because of the way a lot of these stocks tested some previous lows, those February 5th and 9th lows yesterday, on kind of questionable news, both politically and geopolitically and financially. It just, a lot of the stuff just rang pretty hollow, which made me think that they were just kind of messing with everybody.
Sure.
But you get those big moves, and I love Jesse Livermore's book. I don't know if you've ever read it.
I have, for sure. Reminiscence of a stock operator, right? Yeah.
Right. There's a great passage in that, and it took me a while to really get it down early on. But he's talking about two guys, and they're going to duel. And the one guy says, I got no problem dueling. I can snap the stem of a wine glass at 20 paces. And he guy says, that's all good and well, but how well are you at doing that when the wine glass is shooting back at you?
Sure.
And I have to figure that when people were looking at those huge losses going into tomorrow, the hardest thing in the world is to learn that when everybody is saying the end is nigh, that's when you need to be buying. And when everybody's euphoric, they can be euphoric a lot longer than they can be pessimistic.
Sure.
But
that just reminds me.
You got to be nervous when everybody's happy, and you got to be greedy at the lows when everybody's throwing the baby out with the bathwater. And I think we got, at least on the short term, that's basically what happened yesterday.
It's interesting you say that, and I don't know where I get the quote from, but it just reminds me of the quote, and it's from some boxing story or some movie, and it's everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face or something. You know that? Have you ever heard that? It's about a fight. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. I forget what it's from, but
I'm pretty sure that was Howard Cosell.
Maybe it was. Okay, perfect. It's a great quote, right?
Yeah, interviewing not Cassius Clay. What's his? Muhammad Ali.
Was it? Okay. Yes, Muhammad Ali, right? It's Muhammad Ali. Perfect. Even better, man. Even better.
I think he was telling Howard what he's going to do.
That's great.
Before the fight, and then said, you did nothing like you told me, and that was the answer.
That's awesome, man.
If I remember, that was it.
But that's awesome.
Or I like the other one, which is, I think, some German colonel or general from the late 1800s or 1900s, and that's no plan survives first contact with the enemy.
Yeah, and
they're kind of all in that vein.
They're all, right, and they all make perfect sense in terms of you have to be able to adjust, and that's in life. It's in the markets. It's everything doesn't go as rosy pictures and so forth. It'd be too simple if it did. Because, like you said, pretty remarkable, man. Tom and I got off the program at 11 a.m. yesterday, literally at basically the market lows as they were teetering on 400 points down in the Dow. And I had a busy afternoon. I looked up from the computer and I said, my goodness, man, we're even. And then today, of course, gangbusters as well. So it's just remarkable on the heels of that. I mean, we're up almost 800 Dow points in the span of how many trading hours we talking about, right? I mean, 9 hours in trading, pretty remarkable.
But you know, when they're pushing the market around, that's not uncommon. Those windows of opportunity just don't last that long. And they generally don't hold down that long. And what we have is basically a market that's gone sideways now for a while.
Yeah, no,
right?
for sure.
And everybody's sure that market's going higher, the market's going lower. And in fact, that was, I think, the top of my newsletter this morning. I said, do you think X is going higher or lower? I said, you missed one big historical fact, and that is that for many years, it's gone sideways.
Okay.
So there's always that third option out there that you don't, a lot of people don't talk about, and that is that maybe you're just in a trading range, or even worse, you're flat. We've gone through weeks of those at a time in the last couple of years, where the market's just stuck in the doldrums and didn't move. But I think we have a lot of the good action over with, and I think we're probably going to lower volatility and a slight move higher.
Okay.
And we'll see what that is. I'm not thinking we go back to 2850 anytime soon on the S&P.
Yeah.
Cash, but I think we could go back up to 2750 maybe.
Okay.
Maybe before Memorial Day.
And that would even be I was just going to say that would even be above where we peaked out in kind of April, but still far below where we were ever at that high.
But not back up to the highs, and that would be uncharacteristic of a May. And one of our early guests on TFNN was Tim Ord.
Sure, I remember Tim, definitely.
And he taught me a lot about kind of some older trading theories. One of the ones that he talked a great deal about was the 3-day weekend, and how many times the market's actually set up for a major trend change, or at least a character change on those. And for the most part, that seems to hold true over all these years.
Gotta love it, man. We'll see. We'll see where this final hour takes us. As remarkable markets, folks. Dow up 370 right now. S&P's up 37. NASDAQ up 130. Give us a call, 877-927-6648. Dave and I will be right back.